I'm Joshua Kemble, and this is my Vloggins. I am on my way to where I work as a full-time art director, and I'm plotting out basically what I need to get done for the day. So yesterday, I managed to get fairly caught up on where I need to be. I have about maybe 2 more pages of thumbnails, I think 2 or 1, till I've finished thumbnailing and roughing out the entire first or second graphic novel. The first graphic novel is 2 stories, book 1, which you can get on Amazon right now for a really reduced rate. You can also get it at your local, basically any online book retailer, and then you can also request that your local indie-friendly bookstore order it, especially your local indie-friendly comic book shop, your LCS. Ask that they stock 2 stories, book 1, and they're gonna ask how to get it, and just tell them through Ingram. So yeah, so that's fun little factoids regarding that. So I got a lot accomplished this weekend. I basically finished the proposal for Jacob's Apartment, which is my first finished graphic novel that I actually did and completed far before 2 stories. It's full color, 128 pages. So we'll see what my literary agent has to say about it, but I'm pretty excited to kind of get that thing shopping around, see if it picks up a publisher, who knows. And then outside of that, like, I'm making pretty good progress on 2 stories, which I'm excited about. So there's that. And then the neat thing is, people like you have gone and ordered the book and kind of kept it in decent sales ranking numbers. So I'm not sure what the numbers are. I'm going to be interested in kind of seeing that data, like probably around December, I would imagine. That's when I'd probably get my first report, I'm guessing, for the sales on the book. But right now it's just like a big guessing game. And I think that's how it tends to work when you work with a publisher, where it's out in the ether, so you really don't know the sales number until you get that report. So that's that fun stuff. But one thing that's really awesome is that I feel like I'm back on track. I feel like I've been doing pretty good with the exercising. So today I'm heading to work. We had like reduced hours for a little bit because of COVID, and the nice thing is, like, things are coming back. So my Mondays for like the past year have been free, and this is the first Monday where I have to be at work, which is kind of exciting and kind of intimidating too, to just get back into the regular flow of things. But it's a good problem to have. I know a lot of people during COVID like completely lost their jobs. And so I feel fortunate to still have a gig doing creative, and to be working for a business that's thriving and actually growing, which is really exciting to me. So there's that. That's one thing. The other thing is I have a bike now, and so it's been recommended to me that I do my biking in the early mornings in the area I live in, especially for people who live in the area, because it just gets ridiculous hot. But we'll see. We'll see. It's a new adventure. I definitely am not a morning person, and like working out in the mornings has never worked out for me. When I do my rowing and my exercises and stuff, I usually do that when my son is doing his bath. So that's like my little window of time to kind of get exercise. But every other day I don't have an exercise, so I do think that there might be a way. I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure it out. But I do know today I want to try to do biking just for a little bit, and see how that goes. So that'll be kind of exciting to kind of see if I can get a little further than the mile I did the last time. The first time on my bike, that's as far as I could manage to get, was about a mile. Let's see here, what else? Just basically feeling pretty good. Heading to work, and tonight is the indie review show. It's Corey's book, which should be pretty cool. And then I'm pretty excited about the book to come after that, because the next book after that will be a Daniel Klaus book, which I'm really excited about. That's probably in my top 3 cartoonists of all time. Daniel Klaus would be like right up there. If somebody could compare my art to anyone, Daniel Klaus would be one of those guys that if they said, hey, this is kind of like Daniel Klaus, I'd take that as a huge compliment, because he's one of my heroes. So just artistically, he writes really quirky stories. He doesn't really write auto-bio per se, but he definitely writes and delves into a lot of slice of life types of stories. And so I'm excited to kind of introduce the people from Indie Review Show, which is irsagency.com, to that world of Daniel Klaus, and kind of get into like one of the first collections of his work. So that's going to be really cool. Let's see. So so tonight won't be the Daniel Klaus thing. That'll be next week. But tonight, Corey's going to be reviewing one of his picks, and that should be really cool. So make sure you guys are go to irsagency.com and are subscribed to the YouTube channel that's linked to there, because you're not going to want to miss it. It'll be pretty cool. Other than that, like today, my goal is my short-term goal is going to be to read and take notes on a friend's script. That's one thing I really need to do, and I want to give it real good focus so that I can give decent feedback. And then aside from that, I basically am just going to hopefully work on 2 stories, and hopefully see that rough stage get finished, because I'm over it. And I'm not like necessarily over it, it's just I'm doing it a little differently this time. Usually what I would do is have my script really refined and worked out, and then I would rough and thumbnail each page before getting into the page, then go through the process of like doing ruled out panel borders and type, and then photo references, and then penciling, and then inking. And right now what I'm doing is just breaking that. Instead of doing that page by page, I'm just doing the whole thing in bulk. And my theory on that is that it will lead to a lot of better art, and hopefully that'll be the case. I don't know, we'll have to find out. Let's see. Other than that, so the live streams have been really fun though, and I've been really enjoying those processes and stuff, and kind of hanging out with people. So hopefully that'll continue. Yeah, I mean that's basically where I'm at. So I don't want to belabor this or like make it a longer vlog than it needs to be, but I will say just overall, feeling pretty positive and stuff. And by the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I know we just had Father's Day happen, and hopefully I can get to work okay and be safe, because I'm passing by like a crazy rock truck. A lot of cars on, so the freeway that I use to commute is the 14 freeway to where I work as an art director. And what's interesting is there is like a truck, type of truck that like has these big bins in the back that transports rocks from like a stone quarry, I think. And man, those things are a beast to drive by, because you drive by them and you're just kind of gritting your teeth waiting for that like pop of a cracked windshield. And it, you know, I know supposedly insurance is supposed to cover it, but it happens so quick that rarely are you ever going to find out the truck that did it for like an insurance claim, you know? So you just kind of take the hit. Like most people who drive the same commute I drive just have cracked windshields. Which is not the safest thing in the world, but it kind of makes sense because it's like it just happens enough on this freeway. So I have another rock truck to pass by, and hopefully they properly sealed up the top, because they rarely do. But we'll see how that goes. Other than that, let me see, what are some things that are pretty cool or interesting? I've been enjoying Loki. That's a great show. The Marvel universe has been really entertaining and fun, and I like that it's like a cross between, like Brazil, like the movie Brazil, and like a superhero movie. And it's definitely got a lot of like Doctor Strangian vibes, which is like my favorite realm of the Marvel universe, is when it gets into kind of like mystical, crazy business, with magic and different dimensions and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. It can also suck sometimes when it's used as like a plot foil to kind of bring people back from the dead, which I feel is like a device that that comics use, like overuse, and so it kind of has like the default effect of like making you take characters, the stakes of a story a lot less seriously. Case in point, like, Death of Superman, when that happened, that was like DC, and they have their whole like Lazarus pit like nonsense, and then I guess like the Flash's kind of multiverses and stuff. But all comics that are mainstream, that have properties that are like too valuable to kill off, and they'll temporarily like replace a character with a new character, or maybe it's like Thor, but it's a dinosaur, and that would actually be a really cool plot. If they replaced any mainstream comic book character with a dinosaur, I'm all about it. Dinosaur superheroes for the win. And in fact, I need to log that in my head. Like, just having dinosaur superheroes might be kind of fun. Kind of like Devil Dinosaur, like Kirby did that years ago, but it'd be interesting to see like Dinosaur Spider-Man or something. Anyhow, point being, like, I feel like one of the downsides of like the multiverse storylines, one of the upsides is you get this cool like time travel-y, Back to the Future like kind of scenario going on, where you can have all sorts of realities and play with bending reality, and it makes for really cool art and storytelling that's kind of boundless, right? Like, it can, you can have anything basically happen, and you can have these complicated timelines kind of coming. But yeah, but we'll just have to see how those things pan out. But at the end of the day, it'll be, like I said, pretty interesting. Just kind of see if so far Loki is playing with time travel in a way I love, where it's quirky, and like I said, it's kind of like Brazil, where it seems like it's kind of playing with, almost like it might actually have a thing where it's like, oh, the paperwork got fudged because somebody like squished a bug on the paperwork, and that's what caused this whole snafu kind of plot, which I love. But I do hope it doesn't like devolve into like people being killed and then resurrected and killed and resurrected. It works as a story trope, but if you do it too many times, then you have people watching a story and they don't feel suspense at anything, because they know every character that dies is just going to be brought back. Although that does make it impactful if they kill off a character and then they don't actually bring them back, like they're just gone. But I think for stakes in a story, I think one of the reasons people got so invested in Game of Thrones, for instance, is the fact that like the majority, like I think they did do the resurrection thing, but very sparingly. And so a lot of characters in there, like when they die, like they're gone. Walking Dead did the same thing. I feel like that does make like people way more invested and tense in an action, especially an action comic, we're supposed to be kind of fearing for these people's outcomes. Like, there's like a severely evil villain or something. You know, you kind of have a lot more fear if you know that the characters you love so much could be gone any minute. So anyhow, which reminds me, I need to get back to watching Invincible. Although I do agree with a lot of people that, like, man, this whole like serious superhero thing though also starts to get a little old. And there's times where I just want like pure, just like popcorn fluff. I don't necessarily need every character to be like some dark Avenger, Alan Moore take on comics. Which is funny because I write comics about like mental illness and stuff like that. So anyhow, that's just some random thoughts on my way to where I work as an art director, and take it for what it is. What do you guys think about like the tropes in comics? Do you guys like the Lazarus pits on the DC side, or like the multiverse? Like, what do you guys think about that? Yeah, and that'll basically do it for today's Vloggins. But I am hoping today, when I get off work, I can really put the pedal to the metal and get my biking done, to, you know, keep my heart healthy and my body healthy, right? Because that's the thing, the vessel that I'm going to have to emanate art from, right? And so if that's an unhealthy vessel, it's just going to, everything else is going to suffer from it. So I have to keep that conditioned. And then outside of that, like, yeah, that's basically it. Like, I hope I can do that. I hope I can do a good job, like, taking notes on a friend's script, so I can hopefully improve or just help them catch, like, any little things that aren't working in their script. Or, you know, maybe, hopefully it's just a scenario of, like, this is perfect. Yeah, so that's my plans. And then IRS tonight, Indie Review Show, 9 p.m. Pacific time. Corey Kerr will be doing his pick this week, and yeah, and then hopefully maybe I'll have time to thumbnail a little more. At least finish up the page that I started on the stream that I did last night. Oh, and thanks to everybody who's been showing up on the streams. It's super fun to kind of hear everybody's input, and I think the streams end up being a lot more interesting and fun, like the more kind of diverse and awesome the group of people who show up are. So anyhow, all right, that'll do it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.